On my birthday, my daughter called me a nobody in front of her friends. You fix toilets. You think that makes you a man. Mum's new boyfriend owns 3 restaurants. My wife said I was always temporary. I left, then my phone exploded with 28 missed calls. I wasn't expecting a big deal for my birthday. I mean, it was just 47, and I've never been one to care much about candles or cake. But what I didn't expect, what really caught me off guard, was the humiliation, especially from my own wife and daughter. We were sitting in the dining room. Vanessa, my wife, insisted on something simple at home. She ordered fancy takeout from one of those overpriced fusion joints, poured herself a glass of wine, didn't offer me any, and filled the room with her new circle of friends, strangers to me. I stood off to the side, sipping a flat soda, feeling like I didn't even exist in my own house. That's when it happened. My daughter Aubrey, 16, was laughing with her friends, phone in hand, scrolling through something. One of them glanced up and asked, "Wait, is that your dad?" She looked over at me, smirked, and said, "Yeah, that's him. He fixes toilets for a living and thinks that makes him a man." They all burst out laughing. Aubrey laughed too, but then came the part that really broke something inside me. "You're a nobody," she said, loud, clear, no shame. Everyone at the table heard it. I looked at her. This was my daughter, the same little girl I used to carry on my shoulders at the zoo, the one I'd patch up when she scraped her knees and called me her hero. Now, I was the punchline, and it didn't stop there. Vanessa raised her glass, smiling, and said, "Guess it's time you knew the truth." She pointed across the table at some guy I hadn't even noticed walk in, designer suit, slick hair. "This is Dwayne," she said. "He owns 3 restaurants in the city. He's more of a man than you ever were." Then, like she'd been holding it in for years, she said, "You were always just temporary." Nobody stopped her. Not one person flinched. I didn't lose it, didn't yell, didn't cry, didn't even touch the wine. I just stood up, walked upstairs, grabbed a duffel bag, and packed. One bag, no hesitation. As I zipped it up, I could still hear the laughter downstairs. But louder than that was the pounding in my ears. I walked out, no goodbyes, no dramatic exit. And the second that door closed behind me, peace. 30 minutes later, I was sitting in my truck at the edge of some empty park, staring out into the dark. My phone started buzzing. 28 missed calls. 1 from Aubrey, 2 from Vanessa, 25 unknowns, and the last one, Dwayne. I looked at the screen and smiled, because in that moment, I already knew. They were going to regret every damn word. First thing I did was shut off the phone, not because I couldn't handle it, but because I didn't want to. Their panic wasn't my problem anymore. It was just noise. And I wasn't in the mood for noise. I slept in the back of my truck that night, parked outside a 24-hour laundromat. It wasn't warm, wasn't cozy, but for the first time in a long time, I could breathe. When the sun came up, I drove over to a little diner near my old apartment, the kind of place with bottomless coffee and zero rush. I grabbed a corner booth, sat down, and ordered my coffee, black, just like the thoughts circling in my head. At first, it wasn't even about revenge. I just needed to figure out how the hell things got so bad. I'd given them everything. Vanessa and I met back when she was working part-time at a bookstore and I was still a plumbing apprentice. We had dreams. We made plans. I remember telling her, "Give me 10 years and you'll never have to lift a finger." She smiled and said, "Just don't forget who was there when you had nothing." I didn't forget, but she sure as hell did. I built my plumbing business from nothing, took night classes, got certified, bought us a home, paid off her car, showed up to every single parent-teacher conference, even when she couldn't be bothered. And now, I was disposable. But here's the thing. When you've spent your life knee-deep in sewage, you learn how to handle filth. I pulled out my laptop, jumped on the diner's Wi-Fi, and started doing my homework. Not just divorce lawyers. I wanted reputation specialists, forensic accountants, tax auditors. I even bookmarked a few private investigators, because I wasn't about to blow up and make a scene. No begging, no yelling. I was gonna let them settle in, let Vanessa play house with Dwayne, let Aubrey show off her new dad online, let them laugh, because when I was done, there wouldn't be a damn thing left for them to laugh at. I sent everything I'd gathered to a tax attorney, anonymously, of course. I also nudged a few local business journalists, and just to make things interesting, I made sure Vanessa's name was subtly linked in the tips. I didn't name her outright, but I implied she was Dwayne's partner and a financial beneficiary. This wasn't just about taking Dwayne down. I wanted Vanessa to go down with him. Meanwhile, Aubrey kept posting her little highlight reels online. One video showed them shopping in some luxury mall with the caption, "Out with Mum and Dee." Another clip, New dad better than the old one, with Dwayne tossing money around like he was in a music video. She thought she was hurting me. What she didn't realize was she was handing over real-time evidence of financial fraud, all under her mum's name. I didn't say a word. I just kept forwarding the links to my lawyer. Best part, every credit card they were flashing around was still under my name. I'd frozen them quietly, then reactivated them for just long enough to make it look normal. And then, right in the middle of dinner at some fancy overpriced steakhouse, I shut them all off again. Total, over $800. They couldn't pay a cent. The waiter snapped a pic while they argued with the manager. That photo ended up on Yelp. Might have been me who helped it find its way there. The caption: couple throws tantrum after cards decline. Woman yells, "My husband will pay." Spoiler alert, I didn't. Vanessa always needed to be in control. She wore it like perfume, subtle but choking. She had to be the one in charge, the one who looked perfect in every room. But by the time she was standing at the bank counter, Dwayne beside her, both of them confused and angry, that image had already started to crack. "Ma'am," the banker said, polite but firm, "this joint account has been legally dissolved." Vanessa's eyes widened. "What do you mean dissolved? That's my money too." The banker barely looked up. "Actually, it was in your husband's name only, and according to the documents, he removed you from all access 2 weeks ago." She stared, blinking fast. "That can't be right. We own the house together. Everything's shared." "I'm sorry," the banker replied calmly, handing her a copy of the notarized paperwork. "My lawyer had taken care of that weeks ago." Dwayne tried to puff up. "Do you know who I am?" The banker didn't even flinch. That was the first blow to Vanessa's new reality. The second one came a few hours later, when she got home and found a city notice stapled right to the front door. Pending seizure, unpaid business property taxes. She ripped it down, absolutely furious. "What the hell is this?" I watched her from across the street, sitting in an old beat-up sedan Malik had let me borrow. From a distance, she looked different now, smaller, not confident, just desperate. Aubrey burst out of the house shouting, "Why's the internet down? I can't get into Netflix." Vanessa didn't respond. She was too busy squinting at the fine print on the notice. At that moment, my email pinged. The IRS had officially acknowledged the anonymous tip. An investigation was underway. Attached was a confirmation showing that Dwayne and Vanessa's accounts had been flagged. 3 days later, the story hit the local papers. Popular restaurateur under federal tax investigation. Domestic partner named as co-conspirator. Vanessa's photo was right there, printed in color on the front page. Her job, suspended pending review. Her little online clique, vanished. Aubrey's influencer dreams, torched. And Dwayne, that smug look, gone. He started backing away like he suddenly realized the ship was sinking and he was chained to the deck. Vanessa tried calling me 27 times. Eventually, she left a message. "I don't know what you've done, but we need to talk. You're ruining our lives." I didn't respond. Instead, I sent her a photo. It was from our anniversary dinner, the one where she humiliated me in front of Aubrey and her friends. In the picture, I'm sitting there quietly, smiling. Vanessa's holding up a glass, mid-toast. I wrote, "You toasted to your freedom. Now drink it to the last drop." I imagine she was standing in our old living room when she got it. Only it wasn't our living room anymore. Everything warm and familiar had been stripped away. The curtains, gone. TV, gone. Even the couch was missing. The movers took it while she was out begging Dwayne not to leave. All that remained was silence, and Aubrey's voice shaking from upstairs. "Mum, someone posted a video about us. It's going viral." Vanessa ran up and grabbed her phone. On the screen was a YouTube thumbnail that stopped her cold. Cheating wife humiliates husband at birthday dinner, but he got the last laugh. 1.2 million views. The video was edited perfectly. Clips from that dinner, screenshots of messages, photos of her and Dwayne, court filings. And the worst part, that moment, Aubrey called me a nobody, clear as day, caught on video by one of her friends who thought it was hilarious. Now the comments were pouring in. She raised a brat just like herself. This man's a legend. This is textbook pro-revenge. Vanessa's hand shook as she scrolled. Her face lost all color. Aubrey was sobbing now. "They're calling me a bully, a monster." Then Vanessa's phone rang again. Dwayne, his voice was clipped, panicked. "This is out of control," he said. "My investors are bailing. My lawyer says your husband, ex-husband, might have recorded everything legally. I can't be part of this." And just like that, he was gone. Vanessa dropped to the floor, barely breathing, eyes unfocused, surrounded by nothing but echoes. And downstairs, the front door creaked open. She flinched when the door creaked, then slowly turned. I stepped in, calm and collected, dressed in a sharp black coat. It had been over a month since I last spoke to her. "You," she breathed. "I'm just here for one thing," I said, raising a small velvet box. Inside was the wedding ring, the same one she'd tossed into the sink with a sneer that night. I'd quietly fished it out before the movers showed up. I placed it on the coffee table without a word. Then I handed her a neatly folded piece of paper, a check, for exactly $1. She blinked, clearly confused. "What is this?" "It's what you're owed," I said, "after debts, taxes, and the court settlements. That's your share." She opened her mouth to speak, but I was already turning away. Just as I reached the door, I said, without looking back, "You once called me temporary." I paused. "Well now, you're the one left behind." Update. 1 year later. The air up here is different. Clean, crisp, quiet in a way cities never quite manage. I stood on the porch of my modest lakeside cabin, coffee in one hand, peace in the other. No yelling, no chaos, just the steady ripple of water and the pines swaying gently in the morning breeze. My phone buzzed. One notification. It was from the private investigator I'd hired all those months ago. Final update on Vanessa. Dwayne filed for bankruptcy last month. Vanessa's now working part-time at a diner. No stable address. And Aubrey. Moved out. Word is, they don't talk anymore. I stared at the screen, and I felt nothing. No anger, no smugness, no leftover heartbreak. Just peace. I took a sip of coffee and stepped back inside. The walls weren't filled with memories of what had been, but with what was now. Photos from a hiking trip with my brother, one of me shaking hands with the CEO who brought me in to consult on a major engineering project, and a recent one, a simple selfie, me smiling beside someone new, someone who never judged the dirt under my fingernails, someone who didn't compare me to men in suits or mock what I do with my hands. The world probably thought I was just another broken man, humiliated by the people he loved most. They were wrong. I rebuilt myself from the ashes they left behind, and the life I've created, it's so clean, so real, and so far above the wreckage they made. They'll never even catch the scent of it. And in the drawer of my desk, neatly folded, is a letter Aubrey sent 7 months ago. "Dad, I'm sorry. I was young. I was stupid. I miss you. I haven't replied. Maybe someday, maybe never, but for now, I've earned the silence." I stepped out the back door and let the morning light wrap around me like armor. I wasn't a nobody. I was the man who survived them and came out stronger than they ever imagined.